Hello YouTube, LD50 here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Atomic Kitten Moze. This is a build I've been working on for a few days to try to get it streamlined and to make sure that it is powerful enough to take on the most challenging content of the game. I have run this build through the True Malawan takedown and we managed to get through it. So I feel it's at a stage where I can make a video on it, so that's what we're going to do today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to run through the gear and then we'll run through the skills. It is an Iron Cub build, not an Iron Bear build, so we are using Iron Cub as a support on the battlefield. It's called Atomic Kitten because we are using radiation damage. It's a face puncher build, so we're going to use a face puncher. This is a consecutive hits face puncher. Found that this is the best anointment to have for this build. You could use an action skill active anointed face puncher, but obviously when Iron Cub is duration has finished, you lose the anointment. And with the amount of splash damage that we're doing, we're going to keep the consecutive hits anointment alive all the time. I recommend that you have a trick Unforgiven for crit swapping for the more tanky and persistent enemies. Not needed in most situations, but for some bosses and stuff it's worth having. Tortoise Old God. Well, the tortoise bit is not applicable here. It's the old god that we're after. 13% radiation resistance, which also gives us 20% radiation bonus damage. We're using a radiation stone white elephant here, so the old god will boost the damage of the radiation stone. We're using a cloning maddening tracker with the on grenade throw anointment to boost our weapon and action skill damage. Not too worried about boosting the grenade damage, but certainly the weapon damage and the action skill damage are boosted. As I said, radiation stone white elephant. Sticky bombs will be doing a lot of the damage for us. This one's got some good passives, so try to find something with passives that will help the build. Melee damage, area of effect damage, radiation damage, weapon damage. Avoid shotgun damage because that will not boost the face puncher damage. And we're using a minesweeper com with as many points into firing the skag den as you can get, and passives that will help the build. If you can find action skill damage, that's a good one to have because that will boost the damage of Iron Cub. Splash damage, melee damage, weapon damage, critical hit damage, all of these are good passives to have on a com. With critical hit damage, it's worth noting that the face puncher doesn't do critical hits itself, but the sticky bombs from the white elephant will. So that's where the critical hit damage passive would boost this particular build. We'll go through the skills now. We'll have a look at the blue tree first. We want to get all the way down to short fuse, but on the way we'll take 5 out of 5 into firing the skag den. This is further being boosted by the com. Dealing in bonus incendiary damage when we deal splash damage. The sticky bombs from the white elephant deal splash damage, so they will get the 30% bonus damage as incendiary damage. 3 out of 3 into deadlines to help keep Iron Cub active for longer, and 5 out of 5 into grizzled to get Iron Cub back quicker. Obviously when the duration has finished, we'll be on cooldown, and that's when we will be wanting to proc grizzled. 5 out of 5 into stainless steel bear for increased damage from Iron Cub, a little bit more resilience with some armor and a little bit extra fuel, so the duration is a bit longer. Don't put any points into Torque Cross Promotion. There's plenty of splash damage with this build, and what will happen with Torque Cross Promotion is it increases the radius of barrels and things like that, and you are opening yourself up to self damage. 3 out of 3 into Means of Destruction, not so much for the ammo regeneration but more for the grenade regeneration. A single point into Auto Bear because Auto Bear will actually work with Iron Cub. When Iron Cub's duration is finished, you get a further 15 seconds of free Auto Bear action. 3 out of 5 into Vampire to give us some extra health back. Obviously we're using our cloning magnet tracker. That hits 18 times, so that's going to give us plenty of opportunity to get health back. One point into short fuse, because that's going to give us extra damage. Basically, whenever Moze deals gun damage, there is a chance of a secondary explosion centered on the target. It's a 1 in 5 chance, and this is quite a large increase to our damage output. No points in Shield of Retribution. Bottom looks mags. We want to get all the way down to Specialist Bear. So on the way we'll take Cloud of Lead, giving us some free ammo and some incendiary damage. Single point into Dakka Bear, because this will increase Iron Cub's damage by another 20%. 1 point into Redistribution. This is more for the health regen than the ammo regen. 3 out of 3 into Stoke the Embers to increase our incendiary damage. 5 out of 5 into Scorching RPMs, which will increase our critical hit damage. I don't believe that Iron Cub will receive the hard point damage, because we're going to be using Hammer Down Protocol, which is radiation damage. It's a nuke, and I don't believe that it gets the bonus from Scorching RPMs, but certainly our own critical hit damage, which is the sticky bomb damage, will be increased. And a single point into Specialist Bear, because Iron Cub automatically gets a pair of weapons, so it automatically gets a 60% damage increase. On the Bear Mother Tree, we're going to take 5 out of 5 into Really Big Guns, because that is going to increase the damage for Iron Cub. As again I've mentioned in the past, you can substitute the word cub for bear. 3 out of 3 into Big Surplus. So when Iron Cub is on cooldown, we'll get 15% extra gun damage as incendiary damage. 4 out of 5 into Biofuel, because as we set enemies alight, we will get some health regeneration. 3 out of 3 into Double Time. I like to have a little bit of extra movement speed with this build. You could put the points into Explosive Fury, but I think the movement speed is a little bit better. It works well with Iron Cub as well. 5 out of 5 into Never Gonna Give You Up, the Rickrolling skill, because this will help keep Iron Cub active for longer. And a single point into Feature Creep to increase Iron Cub's damage and increase his resistance. Obviously we're taking Iron Cub, and the augment we're going to take is Efficiency Engine, which will give us bonus gun damage the longer that Iron Cub is out. And as I talked about, we're going to be using Vanquisher rocket pods as a weapon on Iron Cub, and we're going to be using the Hammer Down Protocol for the radiation damage, which will again get boosted by the Old God. Iron Cub has a tendency to try to fire through objects. It's not very smart, and what will happen if you use some of the other weapons available is Iron Cub will die to its own splash damage, but it doesn't seem to be affected too bad by Hammer Down Protocol. And it's a nuclear build, it's an atomic build, so the theme is nuclear, radiation, so it was a no-brainer to take this one. Obviously it's a large damage increase. So that is our skills. It's an endgame build, so we will be wanting to get all the way down to Groundbreaker. And it's quite important to take some of the other skills that are useful as well. Topped Off will help us with cooldown, and Shield Reboot and Emergency Response will help us with Topped Off. So these two skills here will help us get our shield back quicker, and when we got full shield we will get increased cooldown rate. It's Mayhem 11 because I don't like modifiers. I'm not particularly using this to farm with or anything, so I don't mind the slight decrease in loot. I do appreciate the fact that I don't have any annoying modifiers to deal with though. So there we go. That is Atomic Kitten Moze using the face puncher, the Iron Cub build. We'll go and take a little run through Athenas, I think, and maybe go and do a boss, something like that, and then recap the build at the end. So I'll see you over at Athenas. Welcome back. We're here at Athenas to do a quick run through of this map. Obviously this isn't the most challenging map, but it is a good linear map to demonstrate the build. It's kind of pretty as well, so we're going to use Athenas. Let's get Iron Cub out there, and there we go. He can drop his nukes all over the place. We'll throw out some grenades to increase our own damage, his damage, provide us some health. But to a great extent, our little chap there is going to be doing a lot of the work for us. Good lad, he's taking care of business for us. And we'll proceed through to the next area. We'll take care of the gentleman up on the gantry there first, because he can be a bit annoying. Let's see if we can hit him. And we'll move forward. There we go, next area. Let's get Iron Cub out. Take care of these barrels. Barrels are your least favourite thing to have on the battlefield. Quite honestly, I think they're the most OP enemy. And you can see the damage numbers there are reasonably high. Let's watch out for that. We don't want to get caught by that exploding. And we'll move through to the next area. Fairly easy build to play this. Iron Cub does a lot of the damage for us. Obviously on the more challenging content we will be doing more of the work ourselves. But this isn't a bad map to demonstrate the build off. As I said, it's a nice pretty map as well.
Day 92. Got off planet, stowed away on a trade ship. Captain caught me, but we'd gone to Implo, so he couldn't bring me back. He's making me scrub bath suits to pay for the trip. Come on! This is just boring exposition. Where's the force?
Damn it, he's just throwing my totally impersonal notes out for everyone to see. Grab him, Vault Hunter.
And as I said about barrels, you really do need to keep your eye on them because they will get you when you're least expecting it.
Tango spotted. Later.
Yep, barrels are OP. I'm not going to deploy Iron Cub until we get to the boss. We'll take care of these enemies here without the nuclear explosions from Iron Cub. Just demonstrate that the build is perfectly capable of taking out your average enemies without the need for support from Iron Cub. Grab a little bit of ammo and we'll jump down, take care of Captain Traunt, and then we'll move off and do a boss.
Time to teach you a lesson.
And yeah, just a few shots and he's taken care of. Right, I think we'll pop over and see a boss. I'm not sure who we're going to go and see. We'll catch up when we're at a boss, and we'll go and take care of whoever I decide to go to. See you in a moment. Welcome back. I've decided we're going to run through to do the jackpot boss. We can take care of a couple of other mini bosses along the way, including the hyper annoying Freddy. So we'll push forward and make our way to Jackbot.
Blast him, boo! That's the way, boo!
Get a variety of enemies here, so it's a good way to demonstrate the build against other types of enemies rather than just flesh enemies. Again, let's try and take care of those barrels. I mean, best of luck seeing anything with this build, obviously. There's a lot of damage going on, a lot of splash. But it is certainly fun to play. Take care of that barrel there. And that barrel there.
Dynamite.
And Freddy's down. Let's just take care of that barrel so we don't get caught with our trousers down. Get Iron Cub out there. And get a second wind. Iron Cub got that one for us. I wasn't throwing out enough grenades to keep my health up. We'll get rid of the ads and then we'll go and take care of Freddy. There we go, Freddy's gone. And we'll go up in the elevator and take on the jackpot. Glad you made it, little buddy. Didn't leave you down the bottom there. We'll wait for our Iron Cub to finish and then get ready to use again. Actually, no, we'll just jump down. We'll jump down even though he's only got a little bit left. Let's see how we do against the jackbot. Got a few little loaders here which will help us with Grizzled. Cooldown's nearly finished. Throw out some grenades, keep our health up.
All out.
Get Iron Cub out.
Another one down.
And there we go. Iron Cub took care of the final phase of Jackbot for us. So, yep, you can see, possibly not the most challenging boss in the game, but certainly an interesting fight, and demonstrates the capability of the build. I think it's a very fun build. I've enjoyed working this one out and playing it. I'll have a quick recap of the gear and skills, and then we'll call that a day. So it's an Iron Cub build. We were using the face puncher. We didn't use our trick Unforgiven at all. We just used the face puncher on its own with the consecutive hits anointment. It's based around using a radiation stone white elephant, hence the name Atomic Kitten. We're using a Minesweeper com with 5 out of 5 into Fire in the Skag Den. We're using an Old God to boost our radiation damage, and we're using a tracker grenade with the on grenade throw anointment to boost our action skill and weapon damage, and to some extent our grenade damage, and also using it to proc vampire to give us health regen. Skill wise, nothing in the shield of retribution. Nothing in the shield of retribution. We're going all the way down to Specialist Bear in Bottomless Mags, taking Scorching RPMs, Stoke the Embers, Cloud of Lead. These are all skills that help us, and Daka Bear, which helps Iron Cub. Redistribution for a little bit of health regen. In the Bear Mother tree, we're going all the way down to feature creep. We're taking really big guns, big surplus, 4 out of 5 into biofuel, double time for some extra movement speed, 5 out of 5 into Never Going to Give You Up, the Rolling skill, and then obviously working down to feature creep. On the blue tree, all the way down to short fuse, because short fuse is a great skill to pair with the Minesweeper com. 5 out of 5 into Fire in a Skag Den, 3 out of 3 into Deadlines, 5 out of 5 into Grizzled, 5 out of 5 into Stainless Steel Bear, 3 out of 3 into Means of Destruction, Auto Bear, 3 out of 5 into Vampire, and obviously all the way down to Short Fuse. That's the build. Guardian rank was on, going all the way down to Groundbreaker, because that does help melee builds with the Face Puncher, and Mayhem 11. So that is my Atomic Kitten build for Moze. I think it's a lot of fun. It's chaotic, lots of splash damage. Sometimes you can't see what's going on, but our little companion here is very powerful with this build, and will get us out of trouble, as you saw where I went down before fighting Jackbot. So yes, I encourage you to give the build a try. Doesn't need masses and masses of gear, although it is quite gear dependent. Obviously you need that radiation stone white elephant to really make it work. You can do without an Old God if you wanted to use a stopgap instead, that would work. a face puncher, fairly easy to come by, some sort of tracking grenade, homing grenade with at least Merv and Bouncy on it to give us some healing. So that's the build, Atomic Kitten. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. So there you go. I've been LD50, you've been lovely, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.